Hi, welcome to Movie Digest. In this video I'm going to explain 2018 sci-fi action movie, titled Upgrade. Spoilers ahead. Gray Trace, an auto mechanic, working on a car in his garage. After confirming that he fixed everything, he grabs a beer and walks out. Just then his wife, Asha, returns home on her self-driving car. She was welcomed by AI, Kara. After listening to a few instructions from her, Asha gets on to do some work. They both get romantic and talk about how their day went, and later Gray asks her to help him deliver the car to his client. Asha tells him she has to work, as he is worried that he could get lost while using her self-driving car on his way back, but she gets interested when Gray tells her about his client's house. The couple drives far away from the city, and arrives at two giant stones near the ocean. They walk between them and enter the hidden path of the house. Asha is impressed by its unique design. Gray introduces Asha to his client, Iran Keen. Asha was surprised to see him, as he was a renowned tech innovator. She tells him that she really loves his company, and works with a similar technology in a company named Cobalt, and it specializes in making robotic limbs for wounded soldiers. Iran shows them his latest creation, a neural chip called STEM, which can enhance the human brain. But Gray is unimpressed, believing that humans are still better than artificial intelligence, and tells him those things will only increase unemployment. While returning home, she tells Gray that he shouldn't have talked with Iran like that, since he is Gray's last paying customer. While they were talking, Gray notices that the car has taken a different route. Asha tries to stop the car, but the system malfunctions and doesn't respond to any commands. Suddenly, the car's speed increases before it crashes and turns. People outside witness the accident, but they do not approach. The AI reports that it has contacted emergency services. Just then, four men approach the car and drag them out. A police drone records the events, where Asha gets shot by one of them. They also shoot Gray on the back of his neck, leaving him paralyzed. Gray tries hard to keep her conscious, but she takes her last breath after struggling for some time. Those men have severed his spinal cord, leaving him as a quadriplegic. 3 months later, Gray returns home in a wheelchair. They made a few upgrades in his house to help him, which serves them juice just by a command. His mother, Pamela, stays in the house to care for him. Gray often breaks down, as he could not cope up with loss of Asha. At the police station, they meet Detective Cortez, who's assigned to investigate the event. But they still haven't found the perpetrators. Because of his condition and inability to get justice, he gets depressed and attempts suicide by an overdose. Luckily, Gray survives and wakes up in the hospital. Later, he is visited by Iran, who offers a STEM implant that would reconnect his spinal cord to his body. But Gray refuses his offer, as he just wants to end his life. Iran says they can't bring back Asha, but he promises that he can bring his old life back. Iran asks him what Asha would have wanted before leaving. This made Gray to reconsider his decision. Gray undergoes surgery at Iran's house with his team, and they install STEM into his spine. While Gray was going through physiotherapy after his surgery, he was able to move his hand for the first time in months. In no time, he's able to stand and walk. Iran has Gray sign a non-disclosure agreement, requiring Gray to pretend to still be paralyzed. Gray gets back home in his wheelchair, and gets on his feet once the door is closed. He receives a package of evidence and reports left by Cortez. He looks through the files and watches the footage, but couldn't find anything. Suddenly he hears a voice telling, "I found something." Gray thinks it's an intruder, but STEM introduces itself. Gray thinks he has gone insane, but STEM assures him that he is not, as the chip is sending sound waves to his eardrum to communicate. STEM directs his attention to the footage, pointing out that the man who fired at Asha is not holding a gun, because it is implanted in his hand. STEM also notices a tattoo on the wrist of one assailant. Gray gives permission to STEM to recreate the tattoo. Gray recognizes that it's a military tattoo, and STEM uses the numbers to access information, and tells Gray that the assailant's name is Cirque Brantner. Gray calls Cortez to give her the information, but STEM reminds him that he signed a non-disclosure agreement, and he cannot reveal how he got the information. STEM suggests he needs to find more evidence against him to alert the police. From STEM's information, Gray finds the suspect's house and breaks in. Inside, STEM instructs him to check the computer on the coffee table. He searches through the messages but finds nothing other than a local bar, Old Bones, which was mentioned several times. While he was searching the house, Cirque returns, and STEM tells Gray to hide. But Cirque finds from the reflection and starts attacking him. Cirque recognizes Gray and asks how did he find him. Gray tries to fight, but Cirque overpowers him. STEM requests for a full control to handle the situation, and Gray gives the permission. Under STEM's control, Gray turns into an efficient fighting machine. After Cirque pulls out a knife, Stem takes the knife and kills Cirque. Gray couldn't stop it as Stem took control over him. After that, Gray regains control, but he was shocked and throws up in the sink. Stem advises him to clean up any trace of his presence in the house, as the Stem has recorded everything he touched in the house, to help him erase any kind of trace. Cortez investigates Cirque's autopsy, and learns there are many implants in his body, including a gun in his arm. They also found engine grease from the front porch of his house. At Iran's house, he informs Gray that he can track him through Stem. Iran scolds him that their operation should remain a secret, and his investigation might expose them. Gray retaliates at Iran that Stem can communicate with him. Iran was astonished to hear that. He warns Gray to not confuse the Stem by doing any detective work. Meanwhile, Cortez checks the drone footage at Cirque's house, and finds Gray in his wheelchair, but the system negates him as a suspect, as he is a quadriplegic. Cortez visits Gray. She talks to him about his car, but Stem notices she checked his boots, and realizes that they left a print on Cirque's house. Cortez brings up Cirque's passing, and reveals that she saw him in the footage of Gray being in the area at the time it happened. Gray tells her he was trying to help the investigation. After Cortez has left, Gray asks to find the other guys, but doesn't want to kill anyone. Stem suggests going to the Old Bones, but it also reminds that Iran will track him, and will attempt to shut down Stem remotely. Despite this, Gray visits the Old Bones bar. Gray calls out to the people at the bar, and asks if any of them knows Cirque and requests them for the information about killing his wife. But the people laugh at him. A man named Tolan walks up to him and removes his earpiece. While he is walking away, Gray admits that he killed Cirque, which angers Tolan and takes Gray to the bathroom, and brings a few men with them. Stem informs it is temporarily blocking pain receptors. Tolan makes a few cuts to check if he feels anything, ignoring Gray's questions. Gray finally gets his attention after pointing out the gun implant. Tolan finally admits to being there during the car crash. He immediately gives Stem full control and takes out everyone. Later, the Stem tortures Tolan, and he finally reveals the name of his leader, Fisk, but Tolan dies before he can tell more. The Stem also finds a computer chip branded Cobalt, the company where Asha used to work in. Stem informs him that Iran is attempting to shut it down remotely. Stem instructs Gray to visit a hacker nearby to disable Iran's remote control on it. It also directs Gray to take the gun nearby and a pen, and he leaves the bar. As he was running out of time, he leaves his wheelchair behind and runs. As he was running towards the location, Stem gives him a code to disable Iran's access. Gray loses control over his legs as the Stem is only operating at 70%. He hurriedly crawls up the stairs to the apartment. Meanwhile, Fisk arrives at the bar, and looks into Tolan's memory through his implants, where he gets to know Gray's location. Gray finally reaches the hacker's apartment just as Stem completely shuts down. The hacker pulls him inside, and starts working on the code. Fisk and his companion arrive in the building. The hacker finishes the code and tells Gray to wait for the reboot. The hacker quickly packs up and leaves as Fisk and his companion nearing them. Meanwhile, Iran's men arrive at the building to collect Gray, while he gains control of one arm and uses it to crawl. By the time Fisk gets to him, the Stem fully reboots and allows Gray to escape from them. Fisk's companion chases him while Fisk detects Iran's men and kills them in the elevator. Gray climbs up to the rooftop, but was caught by Fisk's companion. But the Stem takes control and kills him using his implant. Fisk comes up to find the body, but Gray is no longer there. Gray returns home, and his mom is surprised to see him walking. He tells her about the operation and requests her not to tell anyone. Meanwhile, Iran is devastated, as he lost access to Stem. Gray dreams about Asha sitting next to his bed. Later, Cortez arrives and tells him they found his wheelchair near the Old Bones. Gray claims he followed someone there but got into a fight with a person. Luckily, he was saved by the people around, who put him in a cab. While listening to that, Cortez secretly drops a listening device in his coat. Gray admits he wants to kill the people who is responsible for Asha's death, and Cortez suggests it would be easy to find someone else to do it for him. When Gray becomes emotional, Cortez and Pamela leave. Gray wishes to give up the hunt, but Stem explains that if they do that, then Fisk will track them down and kill them. He gets confused and asks Stem to get out of his head, disabling Gray. Stem reveals that the hack now allows it to control Gray's body even without his permission. Stem insists on finding Fisk and eliminate him. Pamela sees he is getting ready and gets worried and asks what has he done. All this conversation is being heard by Cortez in her car, with the help of a listening device she planted. She takes notes and hears Pamela say that Gray came home covered in blood, and that he's currently armed. Cortez watches Gray drive out of his garage, and she follows him. While driving, Gray finds the listening device in his pocket, and realizes Cortez has planted it. Gray throws the device out onto the road. Cortez turns her police siren to stop Gray. He starts driving fast, but Cortez keeps up. Seeing that they can't lose her, Stem accesses a self-driving car and crashes it onto Cortez's. Having lost Gray, she goes back to his home to find a weeping Pamela, who explains to her about Stem. Gray finds Fisk in his home, holding him at gunpoint. Fisk recounts he was a soldier who was injured in battle. Later, he was used as a lab experiment in Cobalt. He says Gray is just like them, an upgrade, and offers to join his team. But Gray insists on knowing the truth. Fisk reveals that it's his job and Asha was just a collateral. Rather, Fisk was hired to paralyze Gray so he could be implanted. Gray becomes angry, and the two men fight equally with their upgrades. Later, Fisk pounds him hard against the wall, and aims his armed hand at him. As all the options are running out, Gray figures out that Cirque is his brother. When Gray taunts Fisk with the death of Cirque, Fisk reacts emotionally, allowing Stem to gain the upper hand and kill Fisk. Stem reminds him that Fisk mentioned job, and thinks someone paid him and asks Gray to check his phone. He listens to a message from Iran, suggesting he had orchestrated all the events. Gray arrives at Iran's house, while Iran waits for him. Gray asks him why did he do that, which Iran denies. Suddenly Cortez arrives, and holds Gray at her gunpoint. Gray convinces Stem to throw away their gun as Cortez ordered. She orders him to lie on the floor to handcuff him. When she comes near him, Stem throws her off. Gray begs Stem not to hurt Cortez. He fights Stem's control despite Stem's warnings that it will break his mind. Gray asks Cortez to use the taser on him, which malfunctions the Stem for a while. Iran points the gun at Gray, revealing that Stem is controlling him the entire time. Stem was the one who chose Gray to be his host and led Gray to kill Iran, to eliminate the only person who could create another Stem. Stem confesses to Gray that it chose him for being a human with no computer implants. Gray gets devastated as the same thing that killed his wife manipulated him. Stem talks using the house's AI system. He commands Iran to put the gun down. It gains full control on Gray again and kills Iran. When Stem attempts to shoot Cortez, Gray fights back. He forces his hand to aim the gun at his neck and pulls the trigger. Gray wakes up in a hospital room, not paralyzed. When he calls Stem, it doesn't answer, but Asha walks in, and explains he has been unconscious for 2 days following their crash. Gray still couldn't believe that he was with his wife. But in the reality, Stem has taken complete control of Gray's mind and body. His mind broke when he tried to fight Stem, which was its objective all along. Stem kills Cortez, and leaves from there after gaining total control, while Gray will continue to live with his wife in a dream that Stem had found. That's how the movie ends. For more content, please subscribe.